we go. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the stream here. Gotta get the camera fixed. Just 1 second there. Well, the camera's... There we go. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the stream here. I certainly hope you're having a great day today, because I'm doing pretty good myself. And today we're going to actually be back in Planet Coaster today. We've been looking, the last couple of weeks, we've been building our 80s themed area, building out that part of the park. I'm doing a little bit of work off camera as well, just to help kind of move things along a little bit faster. Just give you a heads up though, just in case something does happen. It's been raining and storming here kind of off and on for the past little bit, so if I do lose connection, maybe that I might just, the stream might just end suddenly. It's probably either because I lost power or I lost internet connection, so just giving you a heads up. The lights have flickered once or twice here, so right now it's not too bad, so hopefully we can get a full stream in and not have to worry about it. But they said there might be another band of storms coming here in about another hour or so, so we'll take a look at that. But let's get into the game here, and I'll show you what I've been doing the past couple of days, just to get us kind of caught up and up to speed here. So I actually have been playing a little bit this morning too. I did change the site a little bit. It says adventurers wanted now. Seems like the kind of silly thing that a park would say, just to get a few more people onto the ride, maybe help set up a little bit of a story, even if there's not really one told. Well, actually, you know what? For some reason, this camera has been a little odd today, but we'll work with it. So we'll go ahead and we'll actually hit play. We'll walk through the queue line just to kind of show you. If you weren't here last stream, kind of show you what we did last time. And if you were here last time, what I was doing, what kind of changes I've made since the last stream. So we can walk along here, just over the bridge here. Haven't done much with that bridge yet. But you can see here that is our extended queue line, what we're not using right this second. We actually go in here to the Thunder Falls Museum. Actually, there's actually more people riding it now. I think there's finally enough prestige that people are starting to wander over here more. We'll kind of skip all this queue line here. But if you notice, you come out here and there's a fence there, and there's foliage, and there actually is some rocks and stuff like that here. So I did work on this a little bit. I put some trees and foliage, and started working on the rock work. You'll see what I did here momentarily. But yeah, I decided to close this off. I would think it'd be more for safety reasons than anything else. While it would be a cool overlook spot for the ride, I just got a feeling they would probably put a fence up there just for more security. So we'll head over this way and into the station here. Nothing really changed. Ooh, that's a close-up shot of that gate. We haven't really changed much here, but this is where a few things did change. I was looking at the merchandise store there, and I'm thinking it looked a little cramped, it looked a little small, and the truck wasn't really working for me. I tried a couple. I don't know if the camera's still giving me a little bit of fits here. The merchandise store just didn't really work for me. I tried a few different things with the truck, but either I'd have to remove most of the truck off of there or something like that. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to redesign this. So essentially, it's the same kind of layout. The merchandise store is here. We have these new pillars here, which I'm not a huge fan of, so I've been trying to play with those a little bit more. That's just what the path there is. It's what it is. Did add actually a couple more merchandise things in here, rotated these around, kind of fenced all this off. I figured it'd be kind of more for safety than anything else. But then you might be wondering where that truck actually went. Well, if you noticed here, we do have a little bit more area actually over here now. And this is actually going to become our photo section. I would think for a ride like this, at the very bottom of the hill, they'd probably have a photo section that, you can take an on-ride photo with. And so this is where you're going to be able to pick up your photos from the ride. And so this is where the truck went. You can see here, it's pretty much just, it's the stock. You heard that? It was a nice big clap of thunder there. But you actually can see the truck moved over here. We did put a canopy up just to just kind of cover the registers area. These would be kind of a little more sensitive, And I'll probably put a printer and stuff like that back here as well, so people can, if they want to buy their photos, they will be able to actually print them right here. These screens I have sitting up here, these will actually have on-ride photos on them eventually. I don't know quite when I'll have those up yet, but what I'll do is once I get the ride complete and actually the photo section in, I'll do what I did. There's another ride I created that's not in this part called Cyclone that I actually created like an overlay for the ride. I'll do the same thing for this one. And then I will put actually like I'll wait for a couple cars to come through, take photos of them, and then I'll put all 6 of them here. Or I might do like 5 and do like a 1 for pricing, or maybe 2 for pricing, something like that. So you guys can see, it'll look like an actual photo spot. Then I put here, back to civilization. The sign's a little big, so I might change that out a little later. And then the exit bridge, I did work on this a little bit today. So I did actually, this is all stuck, or temple walls, so that you actually can see how this looks. I kind of want to make this look a little overgrown, because it'd be a little hard to actually get back here with like a lawnmower or something like that. So it's a little more overgrown. The vines would have been fake, would have been there when the bridge was originally built. You guys see how this bridge looks now from the back side. And it's just a simple bridge, nothing too fancy. I didn't want to do anything crazy with this one, but I think it works, and I think it really kind of helps set up the adventure thing here. So the other big thing I did for this was, I'm trying this monitor on, was actually worked on the tunnel, and I actually have the basic tunnel completed. So if you remember, if you go by here, this is the back side of the queue line here. So I started working on little plants that actually kind of came through the fence, because I mean, you got to remember, this ride's what, 35 years old at this point, I think. I mean, technically, if it was built in 1985, then yeah, it'd be around 35 years old. So it's pretty neat. But you can actually come in here under Thunder Falls itself. The rock work might be a little more work, but if you come in here, this is an issue. Let me go ahead and just fix this real quick. I need the push. There we go. I gotta fix that a little bit. You can see here, I did put a little bit of some scenery back here. This actually looks really cool at night too. Yeah, I did put a statue back here, very similar to the ones we have in the museum center. So it kind of ties in a little bit with the story here. And this is a little, I mean, this is not perfect, but this is actually a little control room for the ride. I actually do have some control panels in here. Most of these on the side here are Theme Maker's Toolkit, along with these cabinets over here. But these in the middle here are just the sequence displays, or display sequencers, and we do have a couple TVs with nothing on them. I might change that up and put some actual like on-ride, like kind of monitoring cameras, just to make sure people don't jump out of the ride and things like that. So that is pretty neat. And then you have the other side of the tunnel here, which I haven't really done much with, but that's where the exit's going to go. And we'll cover this area up a little bit. This will be our transfer track for getting boats on and off the ride and things like that. So that's pretty much all I've done to the ride off camera. What I wanted to kind of work on is kind of incorporating the tunnel a little bit better, getting the waterfalls finally situated where they're going to be. And then also working on this kind of intersection here. And that's kind of the main parts I wanted to work on. I kind of work on this like loop here, this intersection here, and maybe work on the cave if we have some time. Because really, this is pretty much all going to be nature. I don't really plan on doing anything else with this. We do also have to work on the pump house. So this will be actually like a water filtration area, as well as a big electric pump to help pump water up to here. Because I was looking at, kind of the ride in general, and besides the lift over here, we really don't have any other like obstacles why this wouldn't be a good place to pump the water to. So you pump water down here, you would have some agitators down here, so we might need to put some electronics and stuff down here. And then these would both flow out into the river, over here, and then right here they would have to maybe have a little bit of a pump just to get it up to the station here. Other than that, I really don't see why we can't do anything like that. So yeah, the other thing I wanted to work on today is the station itself, because we have been kind of putting that one off just a little bit. We've kind of done the queue line. So I think we're going to start with the station and then move over to here. And then we can either kind of decide from there, either do the pump house or the cave itself. But yeah, I think this project's actually moving along pretty well, especially just doing most of this on stream. That was kind of the idea, is I didn't want to take this one too fast, because especially with the station itself, I had some issues coming up with ideas for it. But I think we got a good idea now. I do want to kind of make this an open-ish station. So let's go ahead and let's open this up. And let's get, I think this. Let's get a roof on it first. And I wanted to do a wood roof. Let's see here. So we could do something like that. Let's get rid of the wood part and see what kind of roof we can go out for. The other idea we could do is use this corrugated metal. Similar like how we did with, kind of like the shrimp shack, I guess. Let's turn this down here. It would kind of give it that ramshackle look. Kind of the look that it was kind of, this part it was just really kind of thrown up for the rapids. We could actually do something like this and just do that part over the shelter. Let's see how this looks, because I really haven't tried any. That's not what I wanted to do. I haven't really tried any roof yet over here, so this is kind of new territory for both you and I. So let's do that. I think we do something like that, and we can actually kind of. That's actually been incorporated in here now. What if we actually? Because I wanted it to connect to this station over to the wall over there and the pillars over here. So let's see if we can move this just a little bit. We get rid of those. We can split this from the building so it can move independently of the rest of the building. Let's move this over to about there. Maybe raise it up just a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Not perfect, but I think that'll work for what we're trying to do. And I think we do this all the way along here. Let's see here. Edit this building. We'll do this kind of corrugated roof all the way down. We might do something a little bit different. Let's see. I'm trying to think what. It don't give us much in the way of kind of variations of it, but we'll figure something out. So let's just go ahead and continue with the roof down this way. So the problem with a lot of this, and this is something I kind of noticed on the bridge too, it's a lot of the same color. And I kind of want to break that up with something. So, let's see, maybe here. It's 4 or it's 3 in. What if we did, just like a, what do they call these? Don't remember what that's called. If we do 3 on each, something like this. So we do 3 on each side. Yeah, something like this. We'll rotate this around. So that it's not all one thing. Like, it's not all, a kind of, just slanted roof here. I think this will work a little bit better. Now on the back side, I could not really care less, but, it's not facing the guests themselves. It's just kind of on the back side. And really, the outcroppings here would, not matter at all. They would not serve a real purpose other than decoration. So there would be no reason to put them on the back side. But I think something like this will work. I think we go over here to go to. I think we go to walls maybe. And then we'll go. I mean wood. That's what I'm gonna say instead of walls. But I think we'll just put a little. I don't know what these things are called, but something like this. See how this looks first before I really, get into it. Kind of like this. I think that'll work. And I think I put this one a bit too same height. Yeah, I put that one a little too low. Let's raise this up just a little bit here. Now, so something like this, I bet you $10. That means that's off now. Well, that's not good. And now I'm going to have that... You know what? Let's go ahead and just lower him down. Oh, well, see, this is me with the camera. I don't know exactly what button I hit, but I hit something, and the camera does not want to cooperate as well as it was earlier. And then, so let's go ahead and lower this down one more, like that. And you know what else we could do? I think this might set it off just a little bit more, as if we bring it out just by one like that. Just kind of make it look like it's an overhang of some sort. And we can even put like Thunder Falls Expedition Company in there. I think that'll look really nice. I think like that. Alright, this one's way off. Something like that. I think that'll look a little bit better. We do need to put some fencing just along the platform here and along the path as well. Just because I don't want people like jumping, people jumping over here and getting into this area. Because anyway, this would be a secure area for the ride itself. So, but yeah, I think something like that is pretty good. And then I think we could come down here. Go to these beams here, and I was going to put these, just, if we're going to do that, let's do this. I was going to put them just underneath the roof, like where the roof comes in at. Kind of like that, so you can, so they have some sort of attachment point to it. Let's see here. Is there an option to... Maybe not. Alright. Say, is there can't speak again. Say, was there an option so where I couldn't, or didn't have to have that grid up, but it looks like I might just have to live with it for right this second. Come on. Come on, game. It's saving on me, which... fair enough, is good, but it just, when it does that, it seems like the game wants to completely freeze, and not great. There. And there. So maybe one more after this. We can get this to line up with the end here. Yeah, I think that'll work. And I did notice that it does pop out this end just a little bit, so probably need to fix that really quick. That's no big deal. Something like that, and just lower it slightly. There we go. And then we'll do the same on the other side, just so that it looks like it has a uniform supports all the way around. And then I think what we also need to do is work on the inside here. I've noticed, well, say with a roof like this, you would need some sort of support on the other side too. Let's see here. Well, that's an issue. That should be right up against that wall, and it's not. Did I really mess this up enough that one side's on there and the other one's not? I did. Well, sort of. Didn't think about that. Alright, well, let's see if we can actually move this into place. Hopefully this won't lag too bad. That's what I'm kind of also worried about, but looks like it's going okay. Let's scoot this back a little bit now. Alright, those are both definitely inside there. Turn this a little bit more. Something like that. I think that'll work a little bit better. We'll have to move these posts a little bit. That's okay. We can do that real quick. Go. I think what the easiest way is going to do is just highlight everything on this side. And then go Control. Deselect all those. Like that. And then we should be able to move these now. I said duplicate, didn't I? I did. Alright, well that's no good. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, so let's go ahead and select all this. And deselect all those. Nope, that won't work because only half of them are now highlighted. Come on, game. Something like that. That will be a little bit better. But I did notice this last one down. Well, the last one is actually already in line. So we can just do this. Hopefully. Push it back. We probably have to line it up with the boards we just placed, actually. If we can just slide them back just to, not that much, but yeah, something like that. It's not perfect, I'll be honest with you. Let's we need to rotate them this way just a little bit more. It's too much that way now. That'll work. It's not perfect, fair enough, but it should work for what we're doing here. And how many times were we actually going to be under there? Probably not very often, but still wanted to look halfway decent still. So we'll come to the inside here, and let's go ahead and use these. It's carved. I just want a plain one here. Do something like that. And we'll just go ahead and move like this. If we can actually get these to line up a little bit better here. That was a weird zoom, but alright. So essentially this is what I want to do, and then do, I don't think a 4 will be, I think a 4 will be too big. But let's do like a, let's see if we can go a 2 meter. There we go, we'll rotate this up 90 degrees. Like that. And then I kind of want to do a little bit, something like this. That'll be a 45. Let's pull it kind of down into the center just a little bit more. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 like that. And you can see we actually do have a little bit of a support structure now for our roof, for our ride here. And I do want to add in just a smaller pillar. Give me the 1 meter one, please. Thank you. Just on the ends here, where there's another brace there for the roof. Add them in there. And there's kind of what our kind of the end of what our support structure for this roof will be. Come on. Oh, that's probably actually part of the roof there. And so there now we can just duplicate this, hopefully, if I did this correctly, down along the down along the roof line here. We might have to edit it just a little bit, just to either the left or right. You know what? I've noticed that it doesn't line up with the boards, so we might just have to line up with the boards there, but I think that'll work just fine. We'll have to do something on the other side too, just to help support the other side, because the two walls will, typically this doesn't need any like ground support like that, but for looks, I think we should. So yeah, let's see here, like like that. And over like that. That's a little much, like that. Now, fair enough. You could also make the argument here that, yeah, you won't be able to see a lot of this. But when we do come back through here to look at the rides and things like that, it's nice to see stuff like this too. And this doesn't take too long to do. I mean, we're probably already almost done. And that's the end of the platform with the entrance and exit there. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, I kind of just prefer to do it really quick, and then we'll have it done, and then we can admire it later when we come back through, if we want to ride the rides. So that's just kind of my thinking about this. So something like that. And last one here, just on the end. We'll need to move it over just a little bit so it'll line up there. And there we go. We have our kind of the basic roof there. Do notice it's not 100% perfect, but once again, I think we'll be okay with it. Especially when we put lights up. I think we will put a few lights just kind of on the rafters here because it makes sense. Let's do maybe a lantern would work. Nothing really to hold that lantern on. Then you have this one. That's a little too big, I believe. So, and the square lantern I think is too big as well. Where were these? What would these be considered? Is my question. Probably under lights. Probably that's props. Maybe something like here, lights. Kind of see what we have right now. See what we might be. Something like this might work. Ah, hold on. That looks a little bit more like what I'm thinking here. If we do something like this. And I'm wondering, instead of putting it on the center one, what if we actually put two up? Something like this. I mean, I don't know. And I'm trying to look here to see how that would look. It's something like that. And don't put it on every one, because I think that might be a little overkill, but maybe every other one. We put a lantern. Something like that. And then like that. Right there. I'll make sure that it's lining up. It sure does. And then one here, and it'll make kind of be kind of perfect because then we don't have one right at the end either. So there we go. And let's see. Let's look at it and see how that would do at night, because I don't know how that'll look at night. Oh, the game's saving again. Set lighting to 1 a.m. Oh, look at that. Now that looks very nice. I really like how that's shaping out so far. Yeah, I think breaking up the roof like that, instead of having that huge slant there, I think that works a lot better. And we can put like Thunder Falls Exhibition Company on the things there, or just put Thunder on one and Falls on the other. That might work too. But yeah, that looks really nice at night, and I'm actually kind of happy how that looks. So let's turn that back to 1 p.m. so we can see a little bit better here. So let's go ahead and put the name in there. I think that sign might be a little large for what we're looking for. Oh, that's just nails. I didn't notice that before. There actually is old nails in there. I've never noticed. All right, let's look for a sign that can probably fit in here, or hopefully fit in there, so that we can put the name in there. a bit big. I think it is. It's gonna be a little small for what we're looking for. This, it's almost perfect, but it's a little large still. I guess what we could do is do like Thunder Falls and then like established kind of sign. That might work pretty well. Let's actually just go ahead and hit OK there, and then let's go in here and type in Thunder Falls. We'll do it in like an off-white, and the yellow will become like a nice gray. Might work. If we can just kind of set this in there, and then we'll duplicate that with another sign, and I'll show you why I'm going to do this. Let's see, if we scroll down to the bottom, there were these smaller signs here that I wanted to copy. Just going to move this out here, and do this like something like that. And then we'll do the off gray again and the white. Something like this. Oh, come on. Yeah, I think something like that'll work. I don't know about setting the sign that far off. I might just center it and move it back now. Come on, game. There we go. Now, unfortunately, when we zoom out, they're going to show the signs, but I think from a normal distance, well, I say normal, right there, they pop right out, which is not great, but there we go. I think also what we could do, and I think we will do, is trim this just to have a little bit of wood here. Now, maybe not. No, I think we're going to leave it like that. I think we'll be okay there. And the signs popping out, they are not. So let's go ahead and copy these two signs. They should have two there. There we go. And we'll just move that to the other little outcropping. Something like there. Looks good. Now we can actually go ahead and do... I gotta figure out why that's doing that. I kind of want to see if I can figure out maybe that something there. Maybe there's a setting I can fix so we don't see those. I don't know. But yeah, let's work on this side of this fence here. I kind of want to work on this little strip here because we don't. I mean, there's not much going to go on in here, but I do kind of want to cover all this up as much as I can. Because I don't want, number one, I don't want people falling in here. That would be, first of all, terrible. Maybe kind of funny if they weren't hurt, but still, I don't like this, gaping hole in my park. So it's not great. So let's fix this. We'll kind of just come around here. Maybe we can kind of incorporate that a little bit better that way. I do want to put a fence of some sort here, like I want to put a physical barrier there so that people don't try to jump over and try to get on the ride, which is not a great idea. But we should put an employee entrance in here somewhere. As to where, though, not 100%. Well, it's a tough choice. We could very well put one in here, but I mean, I was thinking maybe. There's not really any ride operators on this side, so they might just come through the entrance. That might just be easier for everybody. Yeah, that's probably what we'll just say. They come through the entrance, which makes somewhat of sense. I also think we need to use a little bit of curbing on the path here. Well, let's go ahead and start with that. I think that might kind of help us set up a couple other things here. So we'll just go back to the wood. I think the wood trim would work, or the wood kind of this 4-meter plane stuff will work. So if we do something like this. The problem is with stuff like this is that if we need something a little bit shorter, I guess we could still use it. You know what? Let's do it. Why not? We'll have some a little bit different on the curb. I want to do this. Well, so maybe with the camera though, usually it's okay with stuff like this, but today it just likes to bounce around today for some reason. So something like that, and then rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to go this way, and then rotate it again, because now the arrow should be facing the correct way. Now we can actually go ahead and fine tune this a little bit more to line it up with the path a little bit better. Now, I did think about doing logs here. I think logs would have been a good looking one too. But I kind of like, oh, excuse me. I kind of like the idea of having a little bit more of a finished wood path there. Just kind of make it look a little bit nicer. I know the area is a little more rugged, but I think we'll be okay with what we've got so far. Well, something like that. We probably could actually pull this out into the path just a little bit more. Something like that. Now we can go ahead and just start duplicating this down. Well, there is that camera again. It's also elevated too, I've noticed that. Ooh, this is not going to be a fun path to curb, I'll be honest with you. I think it actually slightly starts going downhill just a little bit here. I want to sink this down a little bit more like that. So we might not be able to use these pieces just because of the fact that we have to go over so many hills and stuff like that. We might not be able to curve it enough. We're going to give it a try, though. I mean, that's kind of one of those things, like, I think it looks pretty nice. It looks kind of like a generic curb. But, you know, if we can actually get everything to work out, we might be able to use this a little more effectively, but we'll give it a shot here and see how this goes. We're already pretty much at that corner now. So I think this last one will work, and then we need to turn it ever so slightly to the left there. Like that. And then bring this, well, we'll do it down to the exit path, because I think that'll be it'll work out just fine. I think here we'll have to just do a regular 2-meter one. That's okay. That. Change the color of it though, we can, but it's got like a different texture to it or something. That's kind of odd, but there's that. I think that'll work for our little path there. Although I'm wondering, well, see the path we kind of prevent that, because I was kind of wondering if we could actually make pull this wood dock all the way out the path, and then we just put a wall across there. But the problem is this, we'd have to raise it up no matter what. I mean, we still could. Let me see if I can actually let's grab this part here, like along the docks that we just made a couple of minutes ago. And we could do something like this, and this is what I'm kind of having some issues with. So we could do something like this. We'll have to like rearrange some of these. I get that, but to be honest with you, it's actually not that far off. If we actually did something like this, and then relowered all this, yeah, that's what I'm a little worried about. But if we did something like, hold on, let's see if we can maybe finagle this a little bit more. Up a little bit. Up, down. So we start seeing grass, and then we want to... There we go. What about something like that? There's a couple of parts here that don't want to cooperate, but what can we actually maybe make that terrain? It's not much. We can get some of it to disappear. I hate to look at what's actually underneath this, but I think we can actually make some of this work. And what we can do is we can put like barrels and buckets and crates and stuff like that over top of this, so you wouldn't see that. I think this is what we're going to go for, though. I kind of like, because I was kind of wary to put like benches, or not benches, but bushes and stuff like that there, because it was such a small area, and that was what I was kind of concerned about. And I don't think we could fit something that would look good there, as well as kind of make it work. And so I think something like this might be a better option. Even with moving those in, we actually got rid of some of those. So maybe, fingers crossed, might be a better way to do this. Something like that. We need to move a couple of these in, though. Like that. And yeah, I don't think you'd ever, tell a difference that, yes, oh, there's a piece of ground sitting right there. That's okay. But I don't think you would ever see that, yes, this was at a different level. It almost looks like they're even. I know they're not. But, yeah, I think I like that better. And then we don't have to worry about bushes and stuff like that, so that's pretty good. Can we get this last piece of terrain to go? That doesn't look like it. Alright, well, we're putting a barrel there. That's exactly... Let's resign ourselves to the fate. We'll put a barrel there. But yeah, I think this looks a lot better than just having the little strip of grass there. And I don't know what we want to do barrier-wise. Because I kind of want to have people see into here. And I'm wondering if we actually use the fence we used over here. And I'll kind of show you what I mean here. Let me grab just a section of fence here that we use. Come on. So duplicate this, and we'll move it out this way. Like so. And across like this. Now, fair enough, we will need something here, but I think we can also make like an employee entrance here that they can get on this side of the dock, and I think that would work pretty well. This is what I mean by that. I think I'm going to split it and then make it a new building. But I think something like that would actually work. It kind of fits in, because you kind of want to have this whole thing tie in together. But then what I'll do is stuff like on the corners here, I'll put crates, barrels, adventuring supplies, maybe even put some signs on some of the barrels that says, hey, if you want to come and join us, follow this way. I think something like that would work. I think that's what we're going to do. And I think we can just kind of snug that up there, and then kind of continue this rope barrier across. I think we'll be just fine. Something like that. Now comes the boring part is where we have to place every one of these just kind of by hand. Because I'm kind of, because we do have that dip in the park, but I even with this, I have the poster long enough, we don't have to really worry about that. This one, I think we'll start rotating this one a little bit early, just to help with the turn there. I think we'll go ahead and keep on going with this. Also think we need to put some benches over here. We put some down by the crab shack, but I don't think that's going to be quite enough to. I mean, we're still a decent, walk away from there. That I think that will be it'd be good enough to put some benches down here. So something like this, bringing it down. I think maybe one more we can squeeze in here. Maybe not. You know what we could do, though, just to kind of fit this in here. And also kind of help protect the path a little bit. Is we just throw this over here. Like that. And I also think what we do is we just kind of finish the curbing on the side by... Come on. Oh, is it just free? It might just be... free standing by itself, which is not ideal, but it's not. Okay. Why can I not edit building? I got 2 buildings selected, that's why. Edit building, and we'll just kind of continue this curb around here, because I think that would make the most sense, and it went back to the other building, which I didn't want to do. This can get a little frustrating sometimes, but switch back over to this one. Want that one. All right. Now, I want this piece. And then, come on, there we go. Do. Dang it, I don't know if that's exactly. Well, I already royally hosed that one up. We'll fix that here shortly. I've also thought about putting some music actually in the park, just kind of in general, and that might be kind of fun. I either have to make music or try to find some theme park-ish music that we could put in here. You know what? Number one, I went back to the other building, which is frustrating. Something like that. We'll edit this. I actually want the curb to come out a little bit more like that, and actually want it to turn down just a little bit because technically we're at a transition down just a little bit more there, and then we'll continue it around just this way. Not what I wanted to do there. Still not what I wanted to do there. This is what I wanted to do. And I'll just, since it's only like probably another piece or two, we'll just go ahead and bring this all the way around to the edge of the path here. Something like this. We'll rotate it down. Do something like this. Like so. Alrighty, and so there's that done. Let's go. I mean, look, this is actually looking a lot better now than I would have expected. Fair enough, you can kind of tell that people could still jump over the barrier. I mean, that's fair, but I think people get now that if you want to ride the ride, you're going to go down to this end here. But we still need, it would have to be, there would have to be some sort of either security down here, or it'd probably be cameras on this side too. Let's be fair, but and then also just making sure that the ride operator would know that, hey, people are not allowed over there. That makes sense. Well, this is an emergency. Fair enough. If there's an emergency on the ride or something like that, you can easily get people on and off here. So that works for me. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of decoration then on this side. We'll work on the other side here shortly. I know everybody's dying to see all those pillars go up again. Let's see. Where do we want to start on this? We'll start. We'll add them into this building because it makes more sense too. Shops or scenery. Here we go. Did it just close out of this? It sure did. All right. Well, let's get back into this one. And we'll put down some crates. This game wants to cooperate. We can put down some crates. Or we probably just want to put one crate down, not multiple crates. Something like this. We'll put some of the larger ones up first and then kind of work our way down. Always seems like that's how I usually do things, and it makes it look a little bit, or it makes it a little bit easier on me then. So we'll do something like we'll put a big crate there. And I don't know, where else do you think? Maybe around this crane here. Gonna just kind of dot these around here. And then we'll do the medium ones then. And then we'll kind of rotate these. We'll add a little more of these because these would be probably a little easier to move around. We'll actually add one on top of here. Come on, game. Right where those autosaves hit is not great. And then I think we put one over here. And we'll put a couple down here. These also kind of act like a physical barrier between the path there and the ride itself. So, I think it makes a little bit more sense to have something like this, to where, they have to, if somebody wants to jump on the ride, they have to run through stuff like that, which it might deter them a little bit more. So let's do something like, we'll put a couple small ones up top here. Put a small one on this side. And maybe one over here. So I think there's those crates in. I think we put some of these, like some of the newer ones, in as well. It'd be great places to hide speakers if you were in like a Disney park or something like that. But yeah, I think something like this will work. We can maybe put one like this around here. These look a little too new though, so let's look at this one. That looks a little bit better. One of these maybe here. Maybe switch back to this one. And you know what? Let's do this one. This looks a little more like just kind of generic box. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. And we'll move this one up over here. And this one we can kind of just stack on this side. Like so. We need some barrels too, because crates and barrels seems like it's a great way to do things here. So we'll start with this one. Let's see what we can maybe squeeze one back here. I think we can. And then we'll just dot these around here. Them, because remember, this is also decoration for the ride too, so it's not like they're just it's just for the people on the path. So something like this, maybe like it just kind of tipped over. Something like there. And set these back in the ground here. Barrels there and there. We have some smaller wooden barrels. We can kind of dot these a little more around because, they're a lot smaller, so they wouldn't be too awful bad to get a hold of, that is. So, there. Put a couple up over here. like so. A small barrel up top here. Put a couple down here and here. Put a few around the back here to help fill in here. And then we'll put a couple over here. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks. It kind of looks like it's active. To me, when kind of one of the better things arises when you can actually say, yes, somebody was actually here using this for some purpose like this, and I think this is helping. We can also, what we could do is actually add another crane in here. I think we do something like this. And then maybe we actually put it to look like it's able to lift items up into this kind of area here. Because these areas kind of remind me of like haylofts or in a barn or something like that. So it very possibly could be just that that's what those are. They can use those for storage, and that they have a big crane out front here to help with that. Something like that. I think it's looking pretty good so far. It's not perfect, fair enough, but yeah, I think that looks a little bit better than just having just a wood decking essentially there. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else we could put in here. Let's run through the scenery real quick and see what we got. Because this is the kind of stuff. It's like other stuff like this, like building stuff like that. There's kind of some rules you got to follow. I mean, they can't just be this. You can't just put a wall in the middle of a roof and make it look okay. And so you got to follow some rules there. But with decorating, it's a little bit different. I mean, we could do stuff like we could put a plane wing in here. Like maybe there's one. This is also going to go out somewhere. All right, so here's a thought. Could we... Hold on, let's see if we can... Could we make it look like there was like one of their old planes that they crashed in somewhere? Put it on... And then, let's say that the tail snapped off. And they're like, you know what? We don't feel like fixing this. So let's just... let's just put it up on top here. Position snap. I don't know if this is going to be too much or not. Let's see. Alright, it's not letting me snap that last piece on. Hold on, let me move all this out real quick. And see if maybe I can, see if I can maybe actually get that last piece of snap on there. Let's see here. What was the biplane at? Let's see. Left wing. Come on. Please. Oh, it had it. Well, it's not wanting to go home. Are you too good for your own home? That's what I think it was. Oh, come on. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Because I really don't see anywhere else I could use something like this. And what we could also do is put the tail section somewhere, maybe on the cliff, just to kind of... it's like, hey, this is where our plane crashed. I don't really know. It's an idea. I'm looking to see how this would go here. Because I kind of want to have the wings kind of inset into those, into there. I think that this could work. but I do want to make a slight modification to where the wings are placed. The wings, I want to move them back just slightly, so that the front of them are not sticking out through there. Hopefully that won't be too big of a deal. It doesn't look like that bad. Yeah, I think that'll that kind of works. It just kind of gives you something to really kind of set your eye on, whatever. I just had something fall on my leg. Hold on. Ooh, there we go. It's a set of rudder pedals. Funny enough, from my controller. Hopefully it's a little bit better now. Ow, hold on. I scraped my leg pretty good, but that's okay. Yeah, nothing else fell, so just those. But yeah, I think that'll work. I wish those stupid signs would be a little bit better with the Z fighting, but no, I think that plane in there works pretty well. It looks like they kind of just, like, whatever. We got it back. We got this part back. We'll just put it up, and and then I've never used one of those before, so I kind of wanted to use them. But let's see what else. I kind of want to put the tail out on the ride somewhere real quick while I'm thinking about it, So let's run this over maybe here. It's kind of where I think might be not a bad place for it, and we'll put foliage, stuff like that around it. But I wanted to put it out there somewhere, so I actually remember that we need to either put it there or put it somewhere out on the ride somewhere. All right, so what other scenery can we use out of this pack here? We need some jerry cans. That would probably not be the worst idea in the world. Where do we want to put this? We're going to be running to the plane. We'll put some jerry cans. We do want to turn off position snapping, though. Let's get this, rotate it up 90 degrees like that. And drop that down. Oh, game saving again. Maybe you need to turn off how often the saves happen. I mean, fair enough. Is it a good thing to have? Yes, of course it is. But maybe you need to turn down the frequency just a little bit, just so that it doesn't happen too often. Especially with not this park, but I can imagine with other parks that are a lot bigger than this. But something like that can be it could take a while for it to save, and could really mess up somebody if they weren't paying attention to it. So, you know what? A few spare tires probably wouldn't be too bad. Just maybe here. Maybe this is the vehicle section that we have over here. Let's see, something like that maybe. Kind of offset it a little bit so it doesn't show. It does look like it's two separate tires, which it should be. Not too many though, because tires are expensive. Fair enough, but something like that. Yeah, I think that looked pretty good. I mean, fair enough. It's not perfect, but I think kind of the sparsity of it is kind of offset by this kind of big trophy in the middle of it. So, number one, does that spin? It does slowly, and I think I'm okay with that because it looks like maybe it's either blowing in the breeze or they're trying to restart it. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of fun though. So there's that. I think that the front of our station looks really nice. Still, I would think in budget for a park like this. I mean, you got to think about this though. A lot of this is wood. A carpentry shop can probably crank out most of this. The jerry cans probably are plastic. The tires are probably old truck tires that they just kind of painted and made it look like of interest. The plane itself is probably something they would spend a little bit more on, but still at the same time, it would probably be something. This probably wouldn't be a real plane. It's probably either fiberglass or some sort of metal, and then this is just like an electric motor that spins. So yeah, probably not too bad at all. So yeah, I think that's good. I think we also need to put a gate down here. Now I did actually get a new gate today that I think will work down here. It's these gates here. These are air gates. I think these are more for coasters than anything else, but what I kind of like I mean, this is, you know, a good looking, you know, something we could put in. Oh, maybe that's a little small than smaller than I thought it would be. So you know what? Let's not do that then. Probably will use those other places. As a matter of fact, we can actually use them technically at the end of this one. I think we have it set up to where when a raft enters, another one leaves. So what we could do is trigger it like right at the end here, and then right as that one goes, we can see like the gates swing open. It'd be kind of neat. I don't know though. We'll think about that. But how do we want to do? I think what we need to do first off is get one of these pillars and put it over here so that we have 2 points we can attach like a gate to. Go do something like this. Run it over here. I think we probably should also put some. There we go with that camera again. Probably put some fencing there and along here as well, just so that the workers themselves. This would be a authorized personnel only area, I would suspect. So I would, you know, just put to where they wouldn't fall over either into the grass or onto the ride itself. That probably would be a smart idea, but maybe that's just me. But I think it would probably be a good idea. I don't think we can quite put we can't quite put a second rope thing there, but what we'll do. Let's go over here. We'll put some the straight rope in. Well, the game just started up again. I didn't want to do that. I think there we go. There's that. Come on. Their autosave there. Now, maybe not. Maybe the game started freaking out a little bit. There's that. And if we can do something like this. There actually is a way. Well, we won't do that. I was thinking about it. There's a way you can do it to where it looks like it's one big arc. I just really don't have that kind of patience right this second here. Something like that, though, I think will work just fine. I think we need to take this straight rope, bring it over here so we can get the right height out of it. Bring that over and up and across. We'll use the 2 meter wide one. I don't think we can put a 4, so it's a little too large. Yeah, that's okay though. We'll do something like this. Move it over as far as we can over here, like that. Yeah, I think that'll work just fine. Now, gate. That would be number one. I think a rope coil would be, well, not there. I think maybe a rope coil right here would work just, you know, make it look kind of nice. Move it up just a little bit more so it's not phasing through the ground there. There we go. And then, I guess what we could do is just have a single rope across here. It says authorized personnel only on it. I do have one of those signs somewhere. But essentially this would be like one of those ropes that you've seen at amusement parks. They have a little clamp on one side and a little hook on the other one that can easily be moved if someone needs to get through a certain section or something like that. Could I do ooh, I could. I think that would look a little bit better. Yeah, let's do this real quick. Yeah, now let me look and see if I have one of those authorized persons. I swear I do somewhere. Now whether I can find it is another question. Let's see if maybe that would help. That's remain seated. That's a remain seated sign. Which, honestly, how big is this sign? It's decent size. I think this would work. Oh, is that a? Let's see, maybe put one right here. Move that up there, because I think that would work. I mean, they're dotted all in the cars, but you know, I think you know it's interesting. You have one of those. You know, they have. I don't know how many times they say that, and people still do it, which is fair, but. Oh, nice. So I got a couple of different ones. I'm just kind of looking through, like, oh, this is interesting stuff that we have here. Time out here. Hold on. Well, I think we got to put that sign up there. Hold on. Come on. There we go. Let's turn this a little bit more like that. Something like this. Like that. Alright, well. I really can't think of a more appropriate sign than that. But I did find the sign I actually wanted, though. So let's go back over here and put that sign up. Well, I figured this sign would actually be part of the rope. Like, it would actually, you know, be kind of either sewn in here or, like, you know, not bolted, but kind of ratcheted in there. So it'll be something like that. So I think that'll work. Yeah, and I think that's this side of the station done. Let's just kind of, there we go. If we get our signs to work, which, you know, that's a big if. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. I think the scenery, while a little sparse, still works out very well. We did fill in this area, I think, it makes a little more sense. I don't think putting like a small thin thing of bushes in here along the dock, I think this looks a lot better. I think it looks a little more adventure-y, especially with the plane on top of it. It kind of also gives you the point where, you know, this is an expedition company, but it may not be the best one in the world, which is fair. So that's kind of what I wanted to do, kind of like a Jungle Cruise-esque ride. So, well, all right. So we need to work on the other side of the station here. Pretty simple. I'll probably do a flat roof across here, so nothing too crazy. What I want to do first, guys, I'm going to use the restroom really quick. So let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and hit my Be Right Back screen here. I'll leave the music on so you guys have something to listen to. But I will be right back, guys. Give me about 5 or 6 minutes, and I'll be back here. We're going to try to finish up the station today and probably work on that peninsula just a little bit. Hopefully we can get a little more done than that, but we'll see here. So, guys, I'll meet you back here in about 5 minutes. Alright, everybody, I am back, and looks like nothing much has changed here. So that's pretty good. At least the game hasn't crashed, that is, I should say. So, let's see, where do we want to go next? I mean, this little grass area, I probably won't work on the bridge today, because I already did one down there, and I really don't feel like doing another one again today. So let's go ahead and sentences, man. I can't do them today. Let's go ahead and actually work on this side. The other side of the station here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to copy all the pillars from this side and just move them over, because I think that'll be something to support the roof. I think that'll work probably the best. So what we got here, something like, probably need to move them in a little more so they don't interfere with the ride. some, while not perfect, they'll work for now. I might just have to move them in just manually right this second. Go. Also noticed down here that they're quite a bit off. So is the roof. I've noticed that too. I really don't want to redo the roof, I'll be honest with you. There we go. Let's move all these at least out of the way of the rafts here. What I can do is actually add a little bit. Well, I mean, it's still attached to the roof, but they're not quite. You know, I mean, they're not quite as wide as I'd like them to be. But once again, it's kind of a smaller detail that you probably won't see very often. You'll see the outside right here quite a bit off. That's why I wanted to work on it a little bit more. But really, back here, you're not going to really see much anyways, because we do have this wall essentially here. I actually want to work on this a little bit because I think I'm going to get rid of this section of wall, or at least this one right here. It was a good idea. I mean, I'm going to keep the rest of it, don't get me wrong. Let's see, like that. Get rid of this pillar here and there. I'll keep all this because I kind of like how that looks, but it almost looks like the museum wasn't originally a part of this queue line, and when they added it in, they kind of covered up all this, but it's still there, and I think it'll be okay. I just don't think it's maybe we get rid of that wall too, and we keep this kind of, yeah, I think that'll work. And then we maybe just move this one out just a little bit more. Maybe not quite, I mean, right up to the fence, maybe not into it. Like that. What kind of door can we, well, this is the temple pieces, so let's look at temple pieces. I just kind of make a small little, like, not a huge, like, line across here. But I think they do make something like I can use. Now, this does look a little bit larger than that wide, and you're right, because I don't think there's any other thing that's actually a half meter wide, which is unfortunate. I think that something that I would love to have seen is something like something like this pillar here, but only a half a meter wide instead of the 1 meter wide. That might have been a little more useful. Let's see how close this comes to guess, because I don't want them just to hit their, oh well, that I have it on fast forward somehow. I'm gonna wait till the next guest come in, which could be a little while because there's none in the queue here, so they're actually coming out of the museum now. So we'll take a minute and see how close that really is. If it's not too close, then I'll be okay with it, but if it is, we might have to change that up just a little bit. Although I do like to see more people are starting to come down here, which is a good sign. Which I'm kind of surprised more people haven't, and maybe just be that we don't, we're not actually playing. We don't actually hit the play button enough, or actually let the simulation run, just because it seems like people are really, really want to ride more track rides, and this is kind of a pretty good example of one in the park here. So let's see here. Oh, I think it's plenty of room. I think we'll be totally fine with that. Oop, maybe not as inviting as I'd like it to be, but, I still think it'll work just fine. We're starting to see quite a few more people on here, and that's a good sign. I wonder if the scenery rating's up to 100% yet, because that I don't know. Yeah, so Q scenery is 100%. The ride's prestige is starting to get higher. It's already at like 3.5 stars. Finances, it's still at 0. That's where I want it to be at. Anything else? Maybe not. All right. So here, Let's just go ahead and put the flat roof on there. I think I'm going to leave this side open. I don't see why we would do anything different there. Okay, didn't know what that was for a second. I'm like, oh. But I think what we do though is we just do either like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what we want to do here. So flat roof. Oh, we would do a flat roof. But what kind? Or do we want to do like a wood roof, like a wood platform roof? That might work pretty good. Something like that. And really, this is just more utilitarian than anything else because something like that, though. This is probably more utilitarian than anything else just because you're probably not going to see this very often. Let's be honest here. So I think something like that. I'm just going to need to double check and make sure that this is at the correct angle so it's not leaving holes at the end here, but so it might be a bit off. Both lengthwise and actually it's not too bad. I thought it'd be a little worse than that, but so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and split this from the building X and then move it over so like that. And so also what I want to do is go in here, just grab this piece here, copy it. I want to create, I want to go up just a little bit more. What I mean, oh, why is it not, oh, I just did something I didn't want to do, probably. I just want to raise this up just a little bit more and leave a little bit of an edge like that, all the way around this place, because I think that'll look a little bit nicer than just leaving that wall like that. Let me say, worst comes to worst, we can always change it later, but something like this. And we'll go ahead and just raise it up. Looks like to about there maybe. And double check this end here. A little high, we can go and fix that. Like so. And there we go. I will also just, I think it'd also be a good idea to move these pillars up to at least the roof so they look like they're actually, looks like they're kind of doing something, I guess. They may be supporting more of the wall or something like that. Well, maybe. I think maybe no clipping is what I'm having some issues with here. I think that's what's going on. I could be wrong, but I think maybe clipping through things a little bit easier than I'm supposed to be. I think something like that. Keep the kind of the zigzag pattern still because I kind of like it still. But I think breaking up that wall like that I think helps a little bit. And I'm really tempted to just do that. I'll leave that path there. You know what? We can also do something else. I thought about that. We can put a wedge plate or a wedge slope here that I think will help. Now look here. Although none of them are actually half a meter wide. I wonder why they actually did that. I mean, don't worry, I love that piece because it does, allow you to do stuff like this and make, thin walls and stuff like that. But nothing else is that half meter wide, so it's a little bit harder to do things like this. What if we did something like this, though? Just bring it, something like this. I really don't like how it ever hangs like that. Though I did want to look and see how this would look if I align this to surface. I did something like this. Angle, rotate it down like this. Rotate it 90 degrees like so. Kind of moved up like here. And then moved it in. Fair enough, it's going to stick through a little bit on the top, but I'm okay with that. And then kind of work our way a wedge like that. Just to kind of make it, smooth out a little bit more easy. I think that'll work. Still not sold on this whole thing, like this wall here. I don't know yet, but yeah, I think we got this big blank wall in here. Let's go ahead and bring the pillars like this. We're just going to duplicate them and put them on the inside. I think that'll help a little bit on that whole wall. And we can probably put some crates and barrels. Just not a whole lot. I don't want this to be overcrowded on this side with that stuff. And yeah, I think that might be the station done then. Get the camera to cooperate here. Like that. They look pretty good. Because especially if you look here, there's that fence there that kind of breaks that up a little bit. If this fence wasn't here, I would, do a lot more with this area. But in all honesty, it looks okay. If we had some like plants, I know in Planet Zoo we have like plant billboards. They're just like 2D plants. That might actually look really good across here. But yeah, I really think that if we put a couple like crates and barrels, I think that's all we're going to do on this side. Nothing really crazy. So once again, carpentry is pretty easy to do. So we can also do a bunch of rope around here too. You know what? We'll put one of these over here too. Why not? This side needs a little more decoration. Why not? So we'll put something like this, and we'll put one more over here. We'll put it over here, actually, in front of that one. Yeah, I could do ropes all the way across here, like across that wall, but I don't see a reason to. Let's do crates though. I can't really put the big ones in. We want to just put medium ones in, which is fine. It's not like this. I had a feeling would be more personal items, since they're closer to where the people come in and out at. These will probably be more personal items for people, clothes, shoes, hats, things like that. Apparel, and then like trinkets maybe that they want to keep or take with them. I don't know that for a fact, but it kind of makes sense to why these would be on this side here. I did not leave much room on this side, did I? Not really at all. Probably should have done this before I put the roof on, but we'll deal with it for now. Let's see here, some more shipping crates. I think the smaller ones would fit in here nicely. Something like that. Like that, and then raise this one on top of it. That. Some more smaller ones down here too. So I'm going to put this out. This company's not great with storage. They just have boxes thrown everywhere. But I guess, something like this, maybe they kind of goes along with not the best adventuring company in the world, but they do go on adventures like this, so might work out for them. too many more blocks up here. I'm gonna put some barrels as well. Wooden barrels. Here we go. I won't put very many of these because I got a feeling these are probably not ideal for people's belongings. I mean, I wouldn't want to store my clothes in a barrel, but let's just be real here. But we'll put a couple over here just to kind of break up the monotony of crates and stuff like that. So maybe they have a special drink they want to carry with them. They just store it in there. Like that. There. Oh, that's a little clipping, but that's okay. Something like there. There. Why not do a double-decker barrel there? And then we'll put a small one here. And a small one. I'll put it there. We'll move this barrel out just a little bit more because it is clipping into that box. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I wanted to do. I really don't want to do much there. However, I want to try something else. Because kind of the idea, why is this, I want to put net, like I want to put nets, like cargo nets over everything. I think it'd be kind of funny, or it kind of look like it should, but for some reason it's not showing. Well, there's not really what I'm looking for here. And somebody just texted me a great idea. I don't know. It came up with my mother. It might very well be my mom, or it could be my dad. It could be the one, because for some reason they like swapping cell phones. For some reason they say I answer my mom's text more than my dad's, but yeah, we'll leave that how it is. I think it'd be kind of a funny idea if we actually took this side out, so these barrels out. We're actually going to make, if you remember from the Jungle Cruise, they actually have a lost luggage window, which I think is kind of funny, which I think we could put on here. But I think the difference, what we're going to do is, though, is we are going to, come on. It looks like a closed office, like they went out to lunch or something like that. I think we put it between maybe there. Is it sticking out too far? Ooh, not good there. Not ideal. I'd like to use this wall instead of instead of wood. But do they have something a little bit better, maybe? Hold on here. What if we used? Oh, it's a building piece. I can't really use that. I was thinking about if we use an arch, we could actually just use the walls there. That's too big, I think. I might get a little creative here, but that's kind of what this whole game's about. If we did something like, I'm thinking here, hold on. If I did something like this, hold on, let's rotate this flat. Brought this out this way. I'd have to hide the counter of the window in the railing. Or hide the railing in the counter, I should say. But I think I can do that. Something like this. Like that. just bring this all the way around so that we have a idea about how big our booth's going to be. I'm trying to decide like what how to actually do this, because something I didn't think about doing until somebody brought the idea up. But let's see here, something like this, and bring this up to the ceiling. Do something like this maybe. And bring that up. That might work. And then what we're gonna do is wood. I need some wood. How do I want to do this, though? I think this beam might be a little big. So I have an idea how I'm going to hide the inside, but I'm trying to think how I want to... it's a little too big. Alright, well, let's look for something else then. Still a little big there. What if we use the window? Hold on. Because one side of this window is like even with the rest of it, and the other one's not. But if we do something like this, like that. What do we see? Is that too much? Well, I guess we're going to hide it in the shutter. I'll show you what I mean by here in a second. Something like this. We'll leave a few gaps because, I mean, technically this is not going to be too official there. Let's see here. I do want to add in, there were some pieces up here like this. I do want to put just a few brackets under the shelf here because, you know, don't want people like leaning on it. Or I don't want this shelf to break. I mean, people can lean on it, but it's... I mean, technically they wouldn't just because they're going to get on the ride, but something like that. I think that works out pretty well. And then... put a door... Well, one thing we need to do, number one, is finish the walls off. That would probably be the good first idea. Then we don't have to worry about actually looking on the inside here, but get something like that, and then we get a wood door. We need a door of some description here. But I think it looks like an old like ramshackle door. I think that'll work out really well. And I think we actually used this earlier in the museum, so kind of makes some sense to use again, but something like that. There we go. I need a sign of some description. these are all lit signs. Don't want anything lit because I don't want this kind of, just have a just all of a sudden this room's glowing at night. I don't really want that, but I wonder if something like this would work. Let's see here. Now you can kind of see what we're going for here. We're going for the lost luggage sign. Actually, that might not be what we're going for, but let's look here. Yeah, the wood gets in the way there. I think the wood's going to get in the way there. That's what we were using. That might work. That won't work. That one might work better, actually. Hold on, let's try this one. Lost luggage. I wonder why. Is these signs actually lit? Is that's what I'm kind of curious about. Oh no, they have that raised edges that doesn't quite work. Game's loading, or it's saving again. It's too small for these signs. Yeah, it's a little too small. It's a good idea, but didn't really like how that worked out there. Wonder if I can use something. Oh, that's a little too large. Maybe something like that might work. And is there something like what's ranchers look like? Yeah, it's a little. Trying to see that something that would make look like, yeah, that might just work. Well, maybe not. And that works. I think that'll work just fine here. Why can't we just use the sign itself? Because, I mean, technically, I think we just make it like a nice, a little brighter tan there. Yeah, just kind of add a little detail to the wall there. I wanted to try this idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a try. It's actually not quite what I wanted to do quite yet. But I want to put a message on this thing. Out to lunch. Be back in 30 minutes. Yeah, or be back in, we'll do 20. Key is under Matt. And what I would do, like, you know what, we're still going to try. I want to try something here. I don't know if this is going to work, but something like that. And I want to put, hold on here. I wonder if we can use something like, oh, that's a little larger than I thought it was. Also a little larger than it should be. Why are these signs? Fair enough. I know a lot of Planco signs are a lot oversized, so it's not great. But let's actually make a put a mat here. Essentially, it's just going to be art shapes. Luca, hi, how you doing today? Let's see, something like that. What if I can find the right color? I think I want to do this in like, I'll do it in a brown. Why not? Going with the rest of this. angle snap off. I'm doing pretty good, Luke. Thanks for asking. Let's see here. Do something like this, and we'll just go ahead. Come on. Give me that 1 art piece. We'll make it double wide here. Now, do I do anything else with... Well, let's see if we can maybe put a little bit more of a border on it. Just kind of give it a... just to, make it pop a little bit more here. Something like this. And then we'll angle snap. Rotate this up. Like that. I do want to change the color on it to something a little more... And I think that'll work. And then we can move this down to here. Let's continue this on the side so that get a nicer white border on our mat here. Like so. And like... Oh, come on, game. There, maybe? Yeah, something like that. And so now... if this was Disney and this was in the queue line, you can actually move something and find a key. But I don't quite think we can do something like that in Planet Coaster, because I don't think I have any like key assets, or I would. I would more than definitely try to actually put a mat or a key under there. I think it'd be hilarious. Something like that, a little more. Come on, there we go. And there we go. And then we can center this a little bit better now, since we know how big this thing is now. Oh, that looks pretty cool. All right, well I'm happy about that. That's pretty funny. I mean, fair enough, you really can't actually get to the door, but yeah, I don't think it would really be a place you would have to go into very often, or if at all. I think that kind of helps break up this a little bit and makes a little bit of a joke. I don't like that. Let's make sure outside it looks okay still. Everything looks good to me. So yeah, there is probably our station done then. To be honest with you, I think that it looks pretty good. I do love my little lost luggage shack because I think that's hilarious. Yeah, I think that we'll call this for now the station done. We might think about something a little later and add that back in. But yeah, I think from what it was, we didn't have a roof on this place. We didn't have really anything out here to this. I rather quite like it. Yeah, I think I might need a little more polish on it, but I think for now we can work with it. So now let's head over here to the merchandise stand. I'm trying to think here. I'm kind of debating. Do I want to do that, like fix this part of the merchandise stand, or do I want to do that off stream? Because if I can I can do that off stream. I can add in this stuff later. Because really, all this is going to be is foliage. And I think essentially what I'll do is I'll just make a little bit of a hill here. And I'll put just a bunch of, it'll be like, it'll look like tropical trees, but it'll probably be more like oak trees that are covered in vines, stuff like that, kind of fake vines or something like that. Just kind of give the illusion that you're in a jungle, but, yeah. I think I will work on this. So, here's our terrain tool out here. Use the pole, let's make it a little bit larger. Just kind of work our way along here, just kind of pulling the terrain up, see what kind of shape we can kind of make out of it. I don't want to go into a whole lot of this because I don't want it to mess with the ride too much. I mean, I'm okay if it's on the lift hill a little bit, but if you see here, I've actually dug into the ground a little bit with the ride, and I don't want to mess that up too much. There's something like this, though, I think will work just fine. Now, whether this is probably more artificial, that they probably did. If this was a real life park, they would have dug the ride out and filled this in with gravel and stuff like that, and then they probably would have moved all the dirt over here, so it really didn't move that far, but you know, I think that'll work. Let's smooth it out just a little bit, because I mean, when this first would have been constructed, technically this would have been kind of a hard, this would have been a little more rough, but I mean, if you had 30 years to kind of smooth all this out, fair enough. It would make more sense. That it would be settled, everything would be growing like it should on here, things like that. So I think that'll work. Yeah, so let's get some nature in here. Let's see here. What kind of trees can we get? And we might do something like bamboo, because maybe, or some bamboo, not a whole lot, but that stuff like that will just grow anywhere. Let's see here. Something like that. Place these in the ground here. Kind of dot these around here. These are kind of a little more common trees, kind of for the area we would be in, kind of for this. So just use that to our advantage. Kind of raise these up just a little bit here. Let's get some variation of heights. That's something that I was watching, or that's something I learned from like some Bro Nation, I think Bro Coaster a little bit, is that, you know, all these trees, we all have very many trees in this game, like variety-wise. But if you vary the heights on that, you can actually make it look a lot more interesting. Just because you can see how this is already somewhat looking. But when you put enough, bushes and trees like that with varying heights and things like that, it does make it look a little bit more, I guess, realistic. So that's why if you see me, I'll do this, and then I'm like, all right, I'll raise it up. And just kind of randomly raise and lower them kind of arbitrarily, just to kind of get some nice variations in there of different trees and things like that. So let's see. Well, hold on. This one I don't see. Looks more like swamp. I don't think that's really more what we're looking at. That might be a little too big. It is kind of funny though. We are doing this, huge tropical area, and like Tropic Adventure, like old, like, kind of like Central or South America, and then all of a sudden we put like oak trees in the middle of it. So maybe it's not, but it's something like a park like this would do though. It's not like they can fly in a bunch of these plants and keep them alive in a climate like this. Because I mean, it would start snowing in the winter, and then all the plants would just die. So, any tropical plants like that would probably have to be artificial. But it's still okay. I think what we could do though, make it kind of look kind of neat. So use this sycamore tree here. It's a little bit smaller, but I think we can actually do some really cool like roots around here, maybe. Ooh, it's a little larger than I thought it would be. But I think we can still use them a little bit. We have to hide a little bit of it, and we can use part of it. I think that'll work just fine. Something like maybe that, and we raise it up just a little bit more here. Rotate this a little more around, maybe. Use that. Turn the well. Not cooperating with me now. It's not good. Something like that, maybe. Nope, let's actually place that one first, and then use this, just align to surface here. So maybe we can get something going here, maybe something like this. Rotate this around. I mean, while maybe not the most realistic in the world, I'm not an arborist or anything like that. I think it would work, like, especially if they put fake roots down there like this. Might look something like this. So yeah, I think that I'll keep those for at least now. Root's edge. Let's rotate these down just a little bit here and out like that. I think that'll work. Then we need to put some bushes in here because the bushes are kind of the main, main ground texturing thing here. Let's not align these to surface though. So if we do that, it'll be kind of a pain in the butt. And I think it already has become one. There we go. Yeah, I really like. Right, it's not, fair enough. It's not like a like it's. I mean, I think in kind of the back of the mind you would think it's a tropical adventure, but then this kind of the nature around here would kind of be indicative of, yes, your local like oak trees and sycamores and stuff like that. So fair enough. But I still think it's going to give you that feeling, especially if they left this place alone, to just kind of let it grow as it will, or as it as it wanted to. I think it would make it look like a little more adventure, like you're trying to go after somewhere where really they just didn't want to cut the grass. And what also, we can vary the colors, the greens and stuff like that in here. Let's see here. Let's do something more of these forest bushes. Let's do something like this. And we'll get some of the darker greens in here, maybe along the river. I mean, that's kind of the idea, is that you're going to be rafting along this river to Thunder Falls, so that would make sense. But I also want to add some pops of color too, because you would have stuff like that. You would have all this green, and all of a sudden, I'm trying to think. Maybe this red floral bush would kind of be a good idea. You'd have these spots of red in the middle of nowhere, which, or just out in the middle of this green, which I think that'll work pretty well. Something like this. I mean, you're right. It's starting at the point where it's hard to see the station from the top of the hill, which is kind of what I wanted to do. I kind of want to have that kind of separation where you feel like you've, been raft, you went actually out somewhere to raft, and I think this will work out well. I think we need to add a couple more trees, stuff like that in here, to kind of help fill in this area. And then also you can't really see. From the station, you really can't see. If you come down here, you really can't see the top of the hill. I mean, you can, or where you drop it, you just kind of see this. Which, by the way, this looks amazing now. I'm not patting myself on the back, but that is really cool looking. So let's go back over here and add a few more trees in. Let's go with we'll go with a couple more of the ash trees, because why not? Something like this. We'll have maybe that's a whole group of them like there, and then we'll switch it up to a birch. Maybe put a couple birch trees along here. Let's raise that up to maybe like there. I don't think we'll be able to put any between like the fencing here. Put anything else along the fencing here, but I do think. Like in between here, I don't think we'll be able to put any trees or anything like that. But I think just if we had a bunch of bushes in there, or maybe even a few rocks, I think we put a few rocks in here as well. I think that'll help kind of finish off that look that we're going for here. So let's do something like this. Kind of dot these around here. And you know what? That's kind of the thing. It's like, if you compare this to something like, if you go into the Bro Nation Discord, like people like Kinderly, Wings and Strings, people like that, this is not the greatest looking in the world. But you know what? For somebody who just does this for a couple hours a week and has fun with it and streams it, I like it too. And that's, that's kind of the great thing about it. So let's add another pop of red over here. just because I kind of like, I like a little bit of color in these scenes. So I think that'll work out just fine like that. We had a few rocks in here as well, just to help with this a little bit. Something like just kind of have some nice. Keep getting alerts about like flash floods and everything around here, which I don't really, I don't really live that close to a major river, but that's nice. But there are some places that I guess around the town could. So let's see here. Let's get this. We'll just kind of dot the rocks along here, and we use kind of smaller ones to fill in, kind of either above or below. Like that. We do something maybe like this, and then maybe we come back through here with some of these, they call it delicious rocks, which just kind of a little bit different variation of the color. I think it looks kind of nice. Probably should maybe add a few in. You know what, we'll do that actually this way. I was going to add a couple more rocks down towards the drop more, but I think with the trees there, I think I prefer just to add in rocks down on this end, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Let's see here. Yeah, I think so. And I think we'll add just a few bushes, and we'll, just right in here, nothing too crazy. Just to kind of help so we don't have this bare dirt area, which, had to happen, I guess, when I added the when I had to add in the when I added in the path on the other side here. I had to add in I added some dirt in there, just kind of fill in the area. It looked a little bit better than just having the grass there. So we'll do something like this. Let's see here. Push this in just a little bit more. And we need probably one more bush right in here, I'm thinking. Like there. I'll see how this looks on the other side, because I got a feeling it's probably not great. That's not perfect, but it's not terrible. It looks a little bit better on this side, though. Because, in all honesty, this would kind of be a hard place to actually get to. Because, on the side of this fence here, you'd have to either drain this out and go through and cut all this out. Make sure it's all cleaned up beforehand and then refill the ride, which would be kind of a pain in the butt. Or you'd have to come in with like a cherry picker and, just kind of trim all this as much as you could. So, it may not be the easiest thing to cut, so, would make sense if this kind of grew up a little bit more. And let's put one of these down here. Just for some variety. I don't want all this to be green. So something like that. There we go. Yeah, I really like how that's kind of just adding that part, the last like 15 minutes. That's really kind of set this in place almost. I really like how that's done. And really, we've gotten a lot done so far with this ride. Because I mean, if you were here at the beginning here, we really didn't have any of the station done. We had just gotten. We were just kind of finishing up, going through the tours and everything. We didn't have any of this. We didn't have the station. We didn't have the front there. So yeah, I think we've got a lot done. I think we called this good for now. It's not perfect, but there's a few bare spots on the. You know what? There's a few bare spots here. Let's just take care of them while we're here. We got plenty of time to do other things too. You know what? Maybe some small shoots of bamboo might not be the worst around here. Let's, number one, not align to surface, because that's going to mess me up. But we do something like this. kind of sink this in just a little bit more among the trees here. Like, maybe something like this, kind of, you know, if you're trying to explain why there's bamboo, like right in the middle of these woods here, maybe at one point when they first built the ride, they decided they were going to try to put bamboo here, and while it worked, they just kind of got tired of dealing with this area, so they let it grow, and so now there is shoots of bamboo in here, but, you know, it's more of just the natural fauna taking back over, which I think works pretty well. Let me put another small stock over here to actually show that, yeah, we did have bamboo here at one point. But, yeah, I think that's pretty good. We'll put a couple more bushes along here, just make sure this is, I don't just want bare grass sitting there. I think with a little bit of variation, that'll help out quite a bit. Look at that. Oh, we got a tree hanging in the raft right here. Can't have that happen. So let's move this, or can we rotate it a little more? Let's rotate it, and we can move it in just a little bit. So it may hang over the track just a little bit, but oh, it's a little too short to the track there. But we can always raise it up though, like that. Look back here. Look at that. Now that is a view. That is pretty neat, if I do say so myself. Because you know, it's not going to interfere with the ride or anything, and I think that's going to work out great. Let's also look from this side, see how the drop is. I think this bush is a little close, so let's just trim it back a little bit more. There we go. And there is that done. That looks really, I really like that. You know, I'm not a big fan of nature work, I'll be honest with you, because it's random. And I have anybody has a hard time doing random stuff like that, but stuff like that, it just, when you do it right, it looks amazing. But when you can kind of tell when you do it wrong because it looks planned. So I like how that looks. I think we go ahead and let's work on our merchandise store just a little bit. I want to get this like a little stand done. The idea behind this one is I kind of want to make it look like part of the station, so that's why I was kind of holding off on doing this one as well. But since we have the station pretty much built now, we can go ahead and put the roof in here and stuff like that. Kind of the idea is I want to make this like the adventure outpost, whereas this is where you come and buy supplies for your adventure kind of thing. I did something similar to that on. I actually was working on a zoo, which I have the footage for still. I just never cut it together. Yeah, I did play a little bit of Planet Zoo, and fair enough, it's a great game. Like I do like playing it, but I kind of feel I just have, I think, more of a connection to amusement parks than I do to zoos. So I think this is why I kind of like playing this game a little bit better. So maybe that's just me, but. So let's go ahead and what we're going to do with this one is I think we're just going to make it look like a little shack over here that you can come and buy supplies from. Need to put what is this? This is natural wood. Let's do something like that. And like that. Looks pretty good so far. We do need to put a sign there of some description. We do need to put a sign there. As to what, though, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what we could put there. Say, hey, this is, let's go over here, back to scenery. See if we can find a sign that might work there. Because we were using this big wooden sign before, and I think they're a little oversized for what we, especially for here, because this is a rather small building, but, typed in some wood mint sign. Not a great way to start that. Let's see what we got here. So line to surface here. I can squeeze that one in. If it bleeds over on the sides, I can actually fix that. So venture outpost. Oh, outposts. What? Are we really that close on letters? Alright, well, let's do this. Let's make it white. I think that'll look best against that the wood there. Come on. And then we'll do that. Let's see here if I can get into the woods. Crap. Oh, this isn't going to be fun to do. Do something like this, maybe. Trying to just highlight that one sign, and it's not going to be fun to do. If we can just maybe just do this for a second and type in outpost. Might need to move that sign just a little bit. Maybe not. That should work. That should be fine. And then let's go ahead and make just a slight overhang. Do we want to do it here? Hold on. If we do a well, they only let us do 1 meter right now. It's not well. Will that work? Yeah, they only let us do that for. All right, something like that. And then let's go back over to buildings here. Go to wood. We used a lot of wood today, which is, I guess that's fair though. For a park this size, they would use. I mean, that's a very simple thing to use is wood. Even when I was working at Kings Island, they have a huge carpentry shop. I didn't know how big it was until I accidentally went into it one day. And when I say accidentally, it's a really funny. It's a bit of an odd story, but in food service, we actually had a couple different warehouses throughout the park. And one of them we called small wares, and these were, I mean, small wares for us was things like spatulas, knives, smaller pots and pans, and things like that. Things that we would need, but we don't, we wouldn't necessarily go out to get every day. And we were storing, we were cleaning out a stand. And we were like, hey, we're going to go put them back in small wares so we don't have to worry about them anymore. And I had no idea where it was, and the manager I was with, I was still an assistant manager at that point, but the manager's like, here, you and I will walk back there, we'll find it. He goes, it can't be that hard to find. So we were walking through Kings Island, and fair enough, we walked. We knew kind of where it was. But we didn't know exactly where it was, which is kind of our first problem. But because of that, we actually ended up underneath. We actually walked underneath one of the roller coasters, which we could have. It was an employee-only path, so we couldn't walk under the roller coaster, and we ended up in the. It almost looked like a small lumber yard back in our carpentry shop. But then we realized we went too far, and we eventually found it, thankfully. But all of a sudden you're walking back there and you think you're like in the middle of the park, and all of a sudden you're in a lumber yard, which is hilarious. So there is going to be our adventure outpost. I kind of like how that looks, kind of the nice, or not really. It's kind of the overhang. I like how that looks there. I'm going to put another wood beam just up a little bit that connects it back into the building there, like so. And bring that one across like this. There. It looks pretty good. I also think we need to put maybe some lights out here, maybe on either side of the window here. We'll just put some. We'll either put I don't think the hanging lanterns would work, but I think something like that would. Let's see what we got here. The iron box lantern might work. That's a little big, though. Also thought about doing something like this and actually hanging this above. Which, you know what? Let's try it. Why not? We got, I'm not too picky about it. Oh, it looks... Alright, you know what? That looks pretty cool. Can we change how the light looks, though? Doesn't look like it. Alright, well, never mind. Yeah, I think that'll work for what we're doing here. And we probably will need to put another one on this side just for the photo area, so that not too awful bad over here. What do we put though? Well, something caught my throat, I think. But I think it's a little too, well, that's probably a little too large. I think maybe if we hang a lantern though, or two, I think that'll work. Maybe if we actually tilted it just a tiny bit like that, set it up against here, maybe. Something like that. Now, that probably should provide enough light. Let's go ahead and just turn it back to 1 a.m. And we could probably put another one, maybe just one that's sitting on the countertop here. Even the truck has some headlights, pretty cool. I think that'll work. Let's also look over. Ooh, this looks a little dim over here, but is there any way we can fix that? Maybe just hang the lamps off the fence here. Put another one over here. And come on. It's a little bit better here. I think what we do is hang one or two from the sign here. I love the joke to Civilization back this way, because rides like this always seem like they're out in the middle of nowhere. Especially in parks, they're just, you have to walk forever to get back to them and then walk forever to get back. So I kind of like the idea of having a 2 Civilization sign. Funny enough, that actually is the game we're going to be playing on Thursday. So if you were here on Friday or Thursday, I did announce that we weren't. That was going to be our last Stardew Valley stream, and I didn't know what game we were going to be playing yet. The game I was testing, I didn't know because it's an older game. It's actually from 1995. It's a game called Civilization. I think it only should take maybe 2 or 3 streams to actually play a full game of Civilization. So I wanted to play that. It's going to be an actual throwback Thursday from a game from over 20, or right now 25 years ago. So that, it seems like I think it's going to be fun. So we'll see how that goes on Thursday. But for now, we're playing, I think this is actually looking really well. I think we need to put one more right in here. I think that's all the lighting will do for at least the exit. The entrance might need a few more lights. But I think we've pretty much got this well and covered for now. If you guys weren't here with me on Friday, I actually did reach 25 followers, so that's pretty cool. We are halfway to our goal, technically. For some reason, the goal tracker is not updating on the Be Right Back screen. But yeah, we did hit 25 followers on Friday, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, we're almost there. We're halfway to 50 now, so that's really neat to see. And I think last week's Planet Coaster stream really helped that quite a bit. I think I got 3 or 4 that day. So, but yeah, there is, I think, our merchandise stand. Well, at least the structure built. I think we need to go in and add a few, maybe some ropes, because I mean, just basic stuff, and not a whole lot. Just on the sides here. Thank you, Luca. I do appreciate it. I think you're actually one of the followers too, so that does, any follower helps. It's really neat to see that just support, I guess. I mean, that's really the one thing I'm asking for is just followers. So hopefully we can get 25 more, get to 50, and then I got to work on getting the average viewer up to at least 3. I think we're at like a 1.5 or 1.6 right now per stream, per hour, I should say, which isn't too bad, but still would like to get that up a little bit higher, or at least get it to 3. Like that's the kind of the goal for the affiliate, is you have to get it at least 3 per stream. So that's kind of the next goal after getting to 50 followers. So that might take a little bit more work, but I'm sure we can get it. That's what I mean by just kind of there's a little bit more detail like this. And putting these up you reminded me of a story that it happened, when I was at Kings Island. So management wanted us to put more decorations up around our store, and this is when I was working at Coney Potato Works. And so we did. We actually we had a scale up in front of our store, and what we would do is they would put potatoes in there, and you had to be pretty tall to actually reach them. And I'm 6'7", so I could reach them pretty easily. But we figured, people would be reasonable and not grab them out of there. Now, those ropes hang a little lower than I'd like them to, so let's not do that. Anyways, I was working one day, and all of a sudden I heard this loud thud. No idea what. I mean, it was a pretty good thud, and I thought somebody had fallen. So I'm looking around. I don't see anybody. And we knew it happened outside, but didn't quite know what was going on, and didn't really think much of it. But apparently, somebody had taken one of those potatoes. It was probably a teenager, if I had to guess, something like that. I don't really know who it was. We didn't, they found out who it was, and they were properly reprimanded. But somebody had taken one of our potatoes out of our scales, and we were actually under the. If you ever go to Kings Island, one of their big coasters, or actually their second biggest coaster now, because they're about to open Orion when the park reopens. We were actually right under the hill for Diamondback, which is oh shoot, what kind of coaster is it? It's not a Giga Coaster, but it's very similar. It's not as tall as a Giga Coaster. But somebody had taken one of our potatoes from that scale and got on Diamondback, somehow snuck it onto the ride, and then from the top of Diamondback dropped it off onto the pavement of the ground. You can almost see why people are a little afraid, because there could have been somebody walking by at that point and hit him in the head. And that thud was actually the potato splotting on the ground. So after that, we didn't have to worry about putting decorations up, but yeah, it was not a good way to do that. So why people do stuff like that, I'm not really sure, but I remember that happening, and management called us pretty quickly, told us not putting more decorations up. After they told us to put decorations up, we'll just put it like that. That was not something we wanted to do, but we did it for them, and it kind of backfired. So I don't have any stories. I mean, I don't have any like horror stories like that from working there. I mean, I have shared quite a few stories that from me working there, kind of what I did, and so I really still enjoy. I enjoyed working there. I would still work there if they had, because I'm looking. I'm about to get my IT degree hopefully here soon, and I'd love to go work there again if they had like a programming job or something like that. But currently they didn't have any when I looked last time. But oh well, that happens quite a bit. So let's see here. Yeah, but it's like I always have stories like that, and I always, fair enough. There was days that I didn't want to go. I mean, I think that's like any job, but I mean, for the most part, it was a pretty good job. And so far, I really like how this adventure is adding a few ropes to the Adventurers Outpost has really kind of brought it to life a little bit, and I kind of like how that looks. Let's put a rope coil here next to the door. I think that'll look pretty good. Getting this rope fence out here. I'm wondering if we can kind of offset it just a little bit, like so. Now I know I could have used there's a board that sticks up there, so never mind. I know I could use something like that for the nets inside, but I didn't really think that would have kind of fit what we were doing. So just a few more ropes in the front here. Like that. That looks pretty good there. Let's see. Anything else we can maybe add in here? I mean, I'm trying to think, what else? What is back here? I mean, really, it's nothing because it just kind of ends there. Yeah, I don't think I was going to put a fence like right here, just kind of block the scenery there, but I really don't see a need to. I mean, really, the only people that would be coming down here is employees, so I don't think we'll need. You know, there'd be no reason for a person to come down there. I mean, fair enough, people would try to go down there, but probably not would be ideal. Right now, I'm just looking for a trash can to put back there, just so that they have somewhere to put trash from the ride and from the merchandise store here. Let's see here. There's one in particular I'm thinking of that I want to try to find. I don't see in it yet. Ah, here it is. So just something like this. I mean, nothing. I mean, really, it would just to be. Technically, we probably wouldn't use something like this, but I think something for this kind of small area, I think that'd be just fine. I actually do have what we would use in the park. It's right here. This is called a tilt. Yeah, they call it a tilt trash cart. We always call them Barneys when I was working at Kings Island. And they would look pretty much like that. Let's just make wheels red, because I think that's how they were. And it would be no problem if that thing was filled with garbage 2 or 3 times a day, which is ludicrous. But I actually have an idea for those. I'm actually going to build a park services area, so it'll actually be trash collection for the park. I'm thinking maybe actually putting it back here. And so we actually will have a bunch of those, and there's a couple employees back there kind of hanging out. But it'd be kind of the janitors of the park would be back there, so I think that'd be kind of cool to see. Something you don't really see in other parks. You really don't see places like trash collection or something like that in the park, so maybe that's just me. I don't know. But look at this. I really like how this has turned out. I think the merchandise store looks a lot better with that actually completed. It actually looks like something that, they would put in a park. A little maybe generic, but I think it works, especially with the finished station behind it. I really like how the peninsula's turned out. Yeah, we might start a little bit on this plateau, just so that we can maybe try to work this in a little bit more. I want to get the fountains worked in a little bit more here. I'm trying to think how I want to do that. I think what we're going to do, we'll put some small pipes in here to help connect up to the fountain or the pump station just off to the side of the hill there. Let's do this. Let's see if there is. I know there's like some iron pipes here, and there's some like ventilation pipes. That's not quite what I'm looking for. I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go to the supports, which I might be under here. I don't remember exactly where they're at. Let me look here. They're called coaster supports, if I'm not mistaken. Here they are. So I think I'm going to use these as our pipes, because I think these are actually a little bit more to scale of what I want to do here. I want to paint these black, just so they're hard to see. But there's a couple reasons I want to use these as our pipes. Number one, they're about the right size. I think this would be able to carry enough water to the top here. But also, if you look here, they have these support flanges here, which if we put this on the end of a pipe, and then copy this over to here. You know, we won't do this for everyone, but it actually looks like there's a bolted connection between two pipes there. And I really like how that looks, so I think we will continue with that as we build these pipes out here. So we'll do something like that. Do something like this. Gonna build this around this way. And what we might do actually is kind of almost build a facade up here, where this is maybe not quite the full like this is like a full mountain here. This would actually be like iron, like an iron scaffolding back here, just so that they can get back here a little easier if they ever need to do maintenance on the pumps back here. Might be interesting little thought, just to mix it up a little bit, because I mean you got to think about stuff like this. They wouldn't all be, you know, actual dirt. They would have to have some artificial backing to them. So if you do something like that, let's go back into the building here. Let's see here. What could we use? Because we need to turn this, and that's kind of the one. The only thing I don't like is that they really don't have anything that turns. This is, I mean, it's more for. This is more for custom supporting rides, which is a great thing to have. But when I'm wanting to do something like this, it's a little hard to do. And I think this is a little. This actually might work. I think that's how I did it the first time too. So, not. Oh, come on, camera. I did something like this, and this. I'm thinking this piece just barely fits inside the bolts. Something like that, or just overhangs a little bit. So if I do something like this, and then something like this, I don't know, the camera's starting to, or I don't know, game's starting to freak out a little bit. I think because that's not supposed to be there, but I think we'll be okay. We've got about 20 minutes left, so yeah. Not too concerned with it, but I should always do that because I didn't think about this. But if there is no menu there, then why would you have to? You know, you wouldn't have to move that there. Let's actually make this all one group though, so that we can do that. Edit scenery group, and then now we can just kind of copy and paste, you know, on down here. So. I think there's coasters. There's a long one. Here's this. This will help us a little bit more. I think it's too large though. That's the smaller one. There we go. Well, and just shot us across the park. That's not great. Come on. Make this black again. Something like that. And let's probably put one or two more connections in here. And that'll work out pretty good. Maybe put one there and then one in the ground. Just like that. That looks pretty good there. Is there, let's see here, is there, I know there's like, with the Studios pack, they gave us scaffolding, and I think I just saw some. Something like this. It's not quite what I was thinking, you know. Do I want to try to look for the other pieces that I'm thinking of, or do I want to go with this? Is kind of the question I'm thinking of right now. Something like this, and just kind of inset it into the pipe a little bit like that. But you know what? I think I want to go with the other support here. So Let me look and see if the scaffolding's over here. Or what I'm thinking of is over here. I think it is. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm thinking of. Just bare metal scaffolding, but this should work. Kind of fingers crossed, should work. Something like that. We'll do something like that. That's be a little tall, but what I can do is I can sink the bottom one into the ground more. I could leave it like that too. I mean, just you know what? I think we will shrink it down. So at least we'll do like a top like that. Again, that doesn't look great. You know what? Let's go back to the other scaffolding. I kind of liked. I liked it. I didn't think that it was. I didn't think it was was ideal, but I think this will look a little bit better. So we'll switch back to this one. Something like that. And like that. And let's get this one in here. How do I want to... Because I don't think that would be like structurally sound the way I have it now, but I have these I-beams here. What if I just... Hold on, let's see here. If I just did something like this. And just kind of... Well, hold on, I gotta make sure that it doesn't come through down here. I don't think it will, but if we actually do something like this, the smaller connector might work a little bit better on this case. And then if I make this black, then let's see here. Put a let's see here. Maybe this one I'm thinking of. Yeah. Put a concrete footer down here, just to help support it. And then can we do a square like this? Maybe. Is there maybe a bigger one, maybe? Maybe not. Maybe this one I think looks a little bit better. It's a little bit bigger anyways. So if we do something like that, then maybe we can hide one in the other. Move, or we'll make this one a little bit larger, something like that. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I mean, from a nice 10-foot distance here, you would never know that's 2 footers there. I think that looks pretty good too. So let's go ahead and just copy this design and move it over to the other scaffolding too. Like so. So there we go. I think that would be strong enough to hold up that piping. I mean, you got to remember, there's also forces with the water that it would have to contend with too. But you know, I think that would work out just fine still. So now our waterfalls aren't just hanging up in the air now; they actually have some footing. But I still think we need to build up maybe this ground around here, just to kind of up to the waterfall area. So let's do that really quick. While we have a couple more minutes. We have about 10 minutes left of the stream. So let's pull this up. Just kind of slowly working this up. I don't want to kind of overdo it and kind of cover up the work we just did. But I think right in there is about where we need to go. There we go. Kind of just slowly work it across here. Come on, game. There we go. Kind of slowly work our way down this way. If a piece of ground actually sticks out, it might look a little bit different, but that'll be okay. Something like that, maybe? Maybe pull up a little bit more along here. If we can just pull it up just ever so slightly. See how this looks. So we probably should hit play first and see. Get a little bit more to pull out on top here, but that should be just fine. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. We'll also add, we can add in a few rocks around each side here to kind of keep the water contained. Yeah, I think that'll work. Look at that. It's pretty neat. Yeah, I think we add just a few rocks in here just to kind of make sure that, at least from this side, you wouldn't see the facade. That is that rock face, but, you know. Yeah, I quite like that. So let's pause the game again so we don't lose too many more frames, because it's still running okay. It's probably around 25 frames still per second. So while not great, still not too bad. So let's add in just a few rocks here. I think we were using the alpine rocks around here. We were not actually. Hold on. What rocks were we? We probably were using the delicious rocks. Yeah, it looks a little bit more looks a little closer to what we were using. We just kind of work our way up the side here with these bigger rocks, and then come back through a little here in just a few moments and fill in the rest of them, or kind of fill in some spaces if we want to. Like that. And then maybe on this side we can put in just a rock that sticks out here to kind of help deflect more water onto the ride itself. Let's see, we're going to larger rock here. Let's see if we can maybe do something like this. Do the same on the other side here. Rotate this down like this. Move this up a little bit more. Like that. I think, I mean, from down here, you would never know that's a facade. Well, maybe a little bit on the side here, but I think we'll fill that in here in just a second. But yeah, I think that looks a lot neater. Then that would make, that actually makes it look like a nice big rock formation or waterfall. But from this side, you can clearly tell that it's just a bunch of pipes. And that's kind of how I want it to be. Like, I want to make sure that, like, from this angle, from where a guest can look, you could tell, or you would see that it's a rock formation. That's kind of the idea. But from any other side, from where the guest cannot see, I just want it to be like, you know exactly, it's just a facade. And I think that's kind of what I'm going for on this. So let's get this all kind of built up here. So I think that you can see it a little bit more here. So see a little more pipe work here. So let's go ahead and build this up a little bit more here. It looks better. All right, we can put a few rocks sticking out of there too, just to make sure it's not like just a wall of rock. Let's also just flatten this out just a little bit, and make sure that that didn't poke through to the temple guy here. Oh, looks like it actually looks like he's wedged in there, which that's kind of the idea for that. Yeah, it looks that looks better. It's completely covered now. We'll go ahead and just add a few rocks over here. We'll probably actually make a lot of this concrete, and then maybe actually make a walkway across here, out of the sight of the guest, but so that employees can actually walk across here if they need to do maintenance on this. So that's kind of the idea there. We'll add in just a few delicious rocks over here, and then that will be where we'll end the stream with a bit more rock work, Honestly, I can honestly say nature work like this is probably not my most fun thing to do, but I think I've gotten a lot better at it than when I first started doing stuff like this. So, I think, it's starting to become a little more enjoyable because I can actually make stuff that I think people would enjoy. So, maybe that's just me, but, yeah. So we'll just kind of, pretty nice outcropping here of rocks. Let's see, something like this maybe. We'll do maybe one under here. Alrighty. This camera does not like me today. I think that'll work. Then we put a few smaller rocks on this side. A little too small there. I think maybe something like this. Just kind of dot them along, just kind of the underside here. And then maybe along this wall here. Rotate them a little bit. So, yeah, I think there we go. I think that, let's actually add one more in here to kind of make it look like this is all one formation. I think that'll kind of help cement that in there. I want to bring that in there just a little bit more. And there we go. I think that will work out a lot better. And right, I mean, we need to work on that, next stream, and I might work on that a little bit off camera. Let me go ahead and save here real quick, guys, and I'm going to hit play. And I'll just kind of go through what we did today if you guys weren't here for the full stream. I'm just going to go over what we did. It's kind of hard not to see what we did because we did quite a bit today, especially on this end of the ride. So let's go ahead and looks like the game, there we go, it has now saved. So let's go ahead and head over first to the front of the ride, the station itself. This was pretty much barren. There was no roof. There were just these stakes here, and we've really kind of really, I think, added to it. We added the plane and all the wood up front here. We did curb the path a little bit and things like that. So I think that looks really great now. Did a lot of work on this front end here. The next thing we actually did work on the station. Underside itself, it does have a good amount of lights. Still some light decoration along here, but we do have our lost luggage thing, and a little bit of a joke there. If I could put a key under there, I so would. So there is that. Just a little more decoration here. If we exit out here, though, we can kind of see in the queue line here, we can kind of see the new foliage and the cliffside that we're working on. It looks pretty great, if I do say so myself. And then we go over here to our new adventure outpost, which I think, it's starting to come together. It's maybe not perfect. There might be a couple other things that maybe add some more trim to it, especially around the building itself. We do need to add the photos into the photo area, but I think that'll look really good once we get that done. Let's see. And then the next thing we worked on, we kind of worked on the peninsula here. There was nothing here on the peninsula when we started, but now we have this nice foliage kind of barrier between the station itself and the ride. Let me just get the ride going here so you guys can see that. And then kind of the last thing we finished up with is this cliffside here, which is starting to look really nice, especially if we get all the waterfalls going when the ride comes through, which I think there was one about to come down the splash here. And I think we also need to work on this side maybe a little bit more. We'll have to run some pipes along here as well. But you can see here, the rides look really nice. I always think it looks nice when there's people walking around there. It actually looks like it's like a living, breathing thing, or something that could be a true thing in life. So this looks really nice now. There's a lot of people coming over here, which I wanted to see. The falls look great. It's starting to come together a lot better than I thought it would. So yeah, there is that. There is Thunder Falls station done. This stream done, I should say. I mean, this ride is probably going to take at least one, maybe two more streams. We do need to build the pump house over here. We need to finish up this top area here. A walkway for our employees to get back and forth to here. This other little island area down here, probably will do something similar to the foliage around there. Probably do some more foliage around the outside here. We do need to make a transfer area here. But other than that, we just need to work on this little area here in front as well. And I think we can call this ride done. Then we can actually start working on this area here. I think that's going to be our next project after we get this one done. Probably put the restaurant here. Just put a couple backdrop things here. Work on this backstage area behind the go-kart track. Things like that. So if you guys are interested in that, please leave a follow there. I would appreciate it. You guys, I do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you guys want to come out and watch watch one of my other streams, that's great too. But I always stream Planet Coaster on Tuesdays for at least the foreseeable future. I'll go ahead and pop over to my main camera here. So guys, thanks for joining me today. I really do appreciate that. If you guys are curious, I did pick a game for Thursday. We'll be playing Sid Meier's Civilization. It's an old game, but it's a great one. Take about 2 or 3 streams to beat the game. It shouldn't be too hard. It's an interesting game if you're really into 8-bit games or something like that. I think you'll really like this one. Also, if you're a big fan of Civilization. Hold on, did I say that right? Hold on. If you're a big fan of Civilization, you'll actually really like Colonization. So that is will be Thursday. Friday, we're back in Mech Warrior. We've been playing a lot through there. I've been really enjoying that too. So you guys come out for those. It'd be great. I do stream 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you'll have to kind of convert that to your local time there. But if not, thanks guys for joining me today. I did appreciate it. I'll see you guys on Thursday for some Colonization. We'll actually be getting started there and hopefully get through quite a bit of the game. I'll see you guys then.